As you guys know, we're normally out here pulling out cars, and today we hope to do the same thing. However, it's a little bit different level today because Nate, Scott, and I, we're working on a 30-year-old cold case of a woman that went missing.
A young mother up and vanished after her best friend's wedding in a small community out on the coast near Astoria.
We're out here in Brownsmead near Astoria, Oregon. Stay tuned, you are not going to want to miss this story today. We're here to look for a 30-year-old missing persons cold case because some of our viewers saw it on the news and said, if anybody can solve this, Jerry can. They said nothing about you.
Nothing, yeah, I wouldn't expect that.
But here's what happened. I chose Scott. I chose you.
Well, that's because I'm Jay Leno's
to come
brother.
out with me.
Yeah, and you wanted that type of angle.
Her name is Marty. 30 years ago, she was a bridesmaid, so she's actually still in her bridesmaid attire.
I don't know, for me, it's sort of like, I can't, I put myself in the position of like, you're missing a family member. So to be able to come out here and use our skills, we are very good at getting in these nasty places where people don't want to dive.
We're looking for a old Ford Ranger, just a small pickup.
Brown Ford Ranger, yeah.
Yep. So anyway, Scott and I are going to be here for the next 2 days, so hang tight as we introduce you to Linda and see if we can solve a missing persons case.
Hi there, how are you?
Hi Linda, I'm Jared.
Good to meet you.
Yes, thank you. Linda, we're actually here to discuss Marty and the case that you have. We understand that you have quite the story for us.
This is one of the last places she was ever seen. We were at a wedding at the church. When you drive by down there, the church. She was a bridesmaid at a wedding that day. It was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Went over to Sally's parents. Sally was the one getting married. Around the corner at her mom's house was a reception. There was probably 100 people there. Marty proceeded to get a little bit tipsy, you know. But we were going to watch the Buster Douglas fight, my husband and I. And I told her, I said, you can go with us or we'll meet you in town. Well, I'm going to stay here. I thought that was kind of a good choice, probably. The wedding was at 2:30, I believe. And by the time we got over to the reception, it was probably 4 or 5 o'clock. Okay. You know, everybody gets partying and stuff. By then, it was about 7 because, you know, it's February, so at 7 o'clock it's getting dark. Okay. And we headed to town to watch the Buster Douglas fight with my husband's a good friend. And Marty was supposed to meet us at the Hong Kong in Astoria. Well, in the meantime, I'm gone. I didn't know this was even going on. She went from the reception to my mom's to borrow a little bit of money. She didn't have any money. She still had her wedding dress on, her bridesmaid dress. My mom gave her $4. $4. And she came back, went to the logger. She was staying at the logger, talking on the phone with her hideous boyfriend, and crying and upset and everything because she was half whacked. And I don't think anybody tried to stop her from driving. I'm not sure why. Right. She left from there, went to D&D Market to get a couple bucks worth of gas, which was a little store, but now it's called Browning's Logging Office. Got her gas, got 1 beer, Her truck wouldn't start. It was my brother's 84 Ford Ranger. It wouldn't start. So my other brother, Mike, came to jump her. He was the last one to see her. She got in the truck, took off on Highway 30, and headed toward Astoria on Highway 30. I don't think she got past Swenson. Her ex-husband and her place that she was married and lived in was right there off the highway. So we think that within 2 miles, so we have an ex-husband involved, we have an ex-boyfriend, or a boyfriend at the time? No, the boyfriend, his name was Tim Barrett. He was manager of Fred Meyer where she worked. Okay. But he didn't want her out there for some reason. I'm not sure what was going on. I don't know, I wasn't here. And he was in Warrenton. Okay. This is back before IDs and you can track anything and all that. You know, 1990. Right. You know. So yeah, my brother seen her drive off at probably 9:30, 10 o'clock, somewhere in that time frame, because the store was still open. I think they closed at 10. We're talking the gas station? Yeah, and it was a store. The one that she left was D&D Market, it was called. She just had her wedding bridesmaid's dress on, a little leather jacket. We thought she had her purse. We didn't know she didn't have it till her friend got home from the wedding, and she had it in her trunk. And then, you know, until she got home, I don't think we were that worried. She'd taken off a couple days before. She's single, you know. 2 days after the wedding, so that would be Monday when we reported to the police. They really didn't want to do much. You know, she's an adult. So we went looking. It snowed. So we had to go in like a foot of snow all over the place looking to see if she drove off somewhere. You know, we looked along the slough looking for tracks and stuff like that. Now, it hadn't snowed Saturday or Sunday. It didn't snow on Monday, so it made it hard to kind of follow stuff, you know. Okay. So if there were tracks going off, we couldn't see them because now they're under the snow. And I know when I saw, fast forward to 5 years ago, when that giant truck went off in that same spot, I didn't realize it was like that. You couldn't tell where he went in either. There was no track. So, you know, this big giant lift, like my truck only lifted 3 feet. And he was completely under that water. You couldn't even tell. We had Shannon from Astoria Classic Rescue Dive get a hold of me right after that happened with the truck. because he heard from that diver that they seen what appeared to be the frame of an old truck down there, tractor tires, all kinds of stuff, you know. And he was like, well, has anybody ever looked down there? And so of course it got back to us, you know. Well, we called rescue in about 6 months later, and they never.
We find that there's a lot of excuses, like in the whole, I never want to throw law enforcement under the bus with any of this.
No, they do everything by a time frame, and they do everything like they think they're supposed to do, but they really did not look for her, ever.
Right.
There was never even any media. We released everything in the news. There was one thing in the paper. Nowadays it would have been blown up, you know.
Well, the good news is our viewers reached out to us and they said, hey, here's another case for you. We saw what you did over in Missouri. Can you get a hold of the family?
That's pretty amazing.
Can you help them out? I'm like, you know what, I'm down.
And there's been other ones too, kind of similar, that were found by divers that, you know, same thing. And one was like 40 some years ago.
Yeah. We're fighting the light a little bit, so
yeah,
let's get down there, and then we'll formulate a game plan of what we're going to do from there. Yeah. So,
I think it'd be really cool to solve a mystery like this. Maybe if she was really angry and been drinking and came into some slight corner, that's all it would take is, you know, hit the brakes and the car flips and whoop, right over the guardrail into the water. So I guess we'll find out.
Drop me an email, the email's in the description, and let us know if there's a cold case in your area that you would like us to check out as well. Okay, this is a Brownshead. Oh, look at all the, like, oh, so first of all, if she was upset late at night, you could have gone straight off on that one.
Well, anywhere along here, you could easily, like right here is a perfect spot to just, and you wouldn't really leave much of a track.
She went this way twice that night.
Okay.
That we know about.
So she could have just
have easily come back.
So she might as well just been like, I'm not even going to Astoria to the Hong Kong.
Maybe.
I'm just going home.
Nobody knows. Yeah.
Now, why this road and not the road that we were just on where that one teed? Because that one looked like a perfect spot
it does.
as well.
And that's where there's always been a guardrail there. But like you said, it doesn't matter. But that when they pulled that truck out that day, they pulled it out like right here. The diver went down and hooked that big truck out.
If
You couldn't
somebody
believe
was
it.
doing 40 miles an hour here, they'd pretty much, they'd go semi-airborne and then they'd go whoosh.
Yeah. But like you said, I mean, all the way along here could be a possibility.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a long spread.
I have a little boat with a little side scan.
Right.
We could see everything at the bottom here.
Right.
If there was a car, we'd find it for sure at this depth.
So we really have two T intersections, but there's no reason she would have been on this road.
I wouldn't say for any reason. I don't
So
know.
the only reason why we're looking here is because there was a truck that did go off here.
And it just occurred to us when that guy who was diving said, there's something down, there's other things down there.
Right.
It's really low tide right now. Really
What's the visibility look like over there, Scott?
I'm not, this is not a time to make any kind of a joke or anything, but I mean, that's, we need to get that to the lab for some evidence.
Yeah, I think it has your fingerprints on it now.
Yes, it does.
That is weird. That's a bread knife. What the heck? When she left that night, she went straight down Highway 30, from where the logger is, straight. And that store's to the right. You don't hardly even have to go off the highway. And then Highway 30 just keeps right on going.
All right. Go home and get my boat and come back.
That's what I was thinking. Can you take us down to that ramp? Let's go check that out.
Yeah. There was a ramp there. I don't know if nobody's used it for a few years. But right there's the ramp, but I don't know where it went. It should have been like in between where that little wharf is or whatever.
Right.
Just on the other side of them two logs, there's a ramp right there somewhere.
I mean, it's horrible that you lost your sister, but to not know, not be able to find the closure. And that's why I do this. I mean, Jared's got the YouTube. I'm a volunteer.
It's something I don't wish on anybody. You know?
Yeah, I just.
And I'm her sister. My mom's lost 2 children now, and it's lost 2 children. She won't ever get over it. I never got the feeling that she ever left this area. She's in the Knappa and Brownsmead area somewhere.
If we can figure out a way to put a boat in here with the side scan, there's no doubt we will find everything that's ever been lost.
Oh, I can imagine there's going to be some treasures in here.
If we can just get like a clear cut, yes, you guys can go on the property and do whatever you need to from here.
For a search.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll get right on. I'll go home and research it, and I'll talk to somebody.
Okay. Linda, thank you. It was great meeting you today. Here, right, left.
And I'm okay with it.
Yes.
You know what the new thing is? You go like this.
And
you go like this.
Scott, this is a straight shot right there.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's almost. You can see where there's been tire tracks down here in the past. You know, something was drug up or drug down.
All right. Yeah. Let's just grab a magnet and just start tossing it for a few minutes here.
We're gonna call this Site 1.
Okay.
And the reason it's 1 is because it looks like the most obvious. We just watched the UPS driver do mock speed around here, so people know that there's not a lot of cops, and they don't tend to worry about the speed limits, I would imagine.
Well, and in a small town too, you never worry about the speed limits anyway, especially 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago. I mean, you just didn't. Root Magnetics has been like one of our sponsors since the beginning. This one is 600 pounds per side, so 1,200 pounds total. If there is anything of metal under there, I mean, it's going to latch on, like, you want me to show you on your car? My whole goal is where that guardrail is at. We just kind of want to toss to the other side of it and just kind of work from the water out. Probably about halfway out would be my guess.
All right, let it rip.
I like that spot. Right now I attached it to the side of that log.
I'm gonna have to try that little ramp down. Oh, there you go.
Oh, I think we flung it around a log though.
Okay, this is the part where we hope that Jared catches his shoe and slides.
That thing's stuck pretty good already. That's only our first throw.
Please fall, please fall. You have to just bail back in the bushes there. It only hurt for a minute. Oh, that's a bad move.
Whoa! But the good news is I'm almost to that log. Whoa. You know, this is actually a better spot down here for me anyway. I'm attached to something.
Oh, you're pulling something out of the mud.
Scott, I'm gonna say it, there's no metal in here, no car. Just on a brief preliminary scan.
You still think it's worth to dive it?
Not really, I mean, because I'm not feeling anything. Like, it's a soft bottom here. I don't think she's at the other one, because that's not a road she would have been on. But let's go toss it for a few minutes before it gets dark, or we just need to make a plan to bring a boat in here. Where are we at?
We're in Astoria.
That's right, we spent the night in Astoria. That way we can continue the case today. We ended up not finding anything with the magnets yesterday. We really need a boat to get into that slough, but the boat ramp that we did locate.
A small, portable, inflatable, 1 or 2 person, pick it up, put it in the slough, and motor around with a high-end sonar. We could definitely eliminate that whole area as a possibility, right?
Yep. So the good news is we actually have Nate that's been in a couple of our videos. We're meeting him at the logger in about 15-20 minutes. He has his little kayak, has a little fish finder sonar on it, so he'll be able to do some down scanning from that. And with any luck today, let's go see what we can do. Just because we're going after cold cases doesn't mean we can't
have fun.
We can't have fun. Like, we are still out here having a good time.
Zoinks!
Morning, Nate.
Morning.
Top of the morning to you.
Sweet.
All right.
I'm right behind you.
Hey, thanks for coming.
No problem.
So the thought is, if you're coming out here and you're upset and you want to go to your mom's house, this is like the perfect spot. We'd come flying down here into this area. Jared did the magnet pendulum thing here, and an arc, and didn't come up with anything. And then there's another spot down there.
We can just put
Sit
you
in the
in
kayak here and all.
Yeah, we'll just push you right on in. Right
You got a
on.
dry seat on, why not?
Yeah, there's an easy spot for you to launch half a mile down the road.
Got my magnet, got my sounder. Hopefully it works.
See anything in this spot?
Hard to say. There's a tire floating right over there. It's an angry cow. I wonder how much this bank has eroded in the last 30 years.
They said that, Linda said that they actually raised this levee up about 10 feet. He didn't find anything at this location. I'm gonna search this entire levee bank up to the, kind of towards Mom's house is what we're gonna do next.
You know what's interesting about the magnet theory too is if you just drop that thing and it hits, say, the windshield or maybe even a really, really rusty spot, does it still stick?
You'd expect it to slide down the windshield onto the hood. If you hit a rusty spot, you're gonna pull up a bunch of rust.
That's true, yeah.
All right, well, we'll keep following you down the levee then.
Yep, carry on.
I actually got the drone. Let's put the drone in the air.
So Nate's checking out a couple suspicious spots. He's trying the big magnet here. Since this thing's been missing for 30 years, looking at the obvious spots is probably not where it's gonna be. The less obvious spots are like just anywhere in the levee. I mean, if you as much as veer your car 4 feet off, you're gonna be in the levee here. And we've got a few, probably 10 miles of levee that the truck could be located in.
We're back here at the second intersection that Linda showed us yesterday. This is the intersection where another young man about 5 years ago ended up running this intersection, plowed his truck in, and ended up losing his life. The divers that actually went in there said that they saw some other stuff, possible tractor, possible other vehicle, but for some reason, I don't know why, but it sounds like they didn't like investigate it any further.
We're doing this as volunteers. I wouldn't want anybody to think that we're not taking this very seriously. We are very serious about this most of the time. Occasionally we're making jokes and having fun, but we certainly have complete respect for Linda and for Marty.
Morning, Linda.
Who's that down there?
That's Nate. He's another search and recovery diver with us.
Nice kayak.
And he's found multiple cars for us, just not here in the slough today.
Really?
But, he's good at what he does.
Well, my son sent me a message. The one who's very familiar with these sloughs around here.
Uh-huh.
He knows every slough from that mountain to that mountain. Yeah. They need to really look where Jack the Road meets the dike. That's right here. Between here and Hippie Jim's place, which is that house. So he said there's some really deep holes right in front of his house too.
Yeah, so we're really searching heavy on both intersections, and then we're doing bank searches all the way down to where this levee actually ends.
Right.
We're gonna let you finish checking the dike here. We're gonna head down towards Mom's house, which is across the way, but there's a 90-degree corner that we understand that we're gonna go toss some magnets in there and go check that out.
All right.
And
go to the end and then turn around and search it on the way back.
All right, sounds good.
Wow.
Anyway, the reason why we're here is because just up here past this red stocking cap right here, the top of the road is a 90, and I'll show you that in just a moment, where she could have been come flying past that, flew over the edge and into this pond here. Anyway, we can't rule this one out, but you know what? I might have a underwater drone with a sonar on it soon, and this would be a perfect spot to drop it in to check. Can you come over here and take a nap? All right, let's go see how Nate's doing.
How you doing? Any hits of any sort? No? You should be fishing while you're doing that. We'll meet you back at base camp. I'll have hot tea and crumpets, something.
Probably none of that.
Ooh, get a picture of me spitting on them.
Anyway, at this point, as they're wrapping up, pulling the kayak out of the water, unfortunately, we were not able to solve this case today. Scott and I, we've actually been over here for 2 days. We are going to have to come back and work on this mission even more, Scott.
I think the thing today was we weren't successful, but in reality, we now know in places that we don't need to search as intensely. We got a better lay of the land, and I think with a little more time, we should be able to maybe even get some targets and get in the water.
Nate, thanks for your time today, for coming out. Tune in and be sure to subscribe, because we are going to be coming back out on this mission, and you're not going to want to miss the other stuff that we do, like pulling more cars out of the rivers coming up. Thanks again. Later. Bye-bye.